Do you think that's something that's just taught to girls through like TV shows or groups of circles they're in at that age where like having a significant other is supposed to be so like emotionally draining from you and that's okay? Like how do you think it gets to that point?
I think it gets to that point depending on your childhood. Like if you grew up, if you were ever abandoned or you grew up craving a love for a parent or craving a love for somebody in your life, like I was always the black sheep. So I think growing up, I always just wanted, and now that my parents aren't loving, they're super loving and they've always been there, you know? My dad was gone one time and I know I almost died and whatever, but it had to do, it wasn't like he left me because he didn't want me, but who knows what I felt like as a kid, it's different. And he did it to get us, a better life, which he had to come here to get a better life for us. But as a kid, I struggled a lot with that because I was
Right.
daddy's girl.
Right.
So I was like, dad abandoned me.
It's a little harder to understand it then.
It's a little harder to understand when
Yeah.
you're 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
when you're so attached to your dad. So I think like there's, like I said, but I know in no shape or form did he come over here saying I'm leaving my family. I know he came over here saying I'm getting a better future for my family, from Mexico. So, but like I said, a 7-year-old, you don't understand that. So I think that like growing up, and my mom had to work so much that she wasn't always there because she had to work. It wasn't that she didn't love us. They treated us with a lot of love. But I think like certain kids grow up, especially girls, with this. I'm not saying that men don't, but I can't speak for a guy. That you crave that love and that acceptance so bad. And I was always a black sheep and even with my brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? So you crave acceptance so bad and love so bad that as you're growing up in your teens and in your 20s, you just want it. Like you just want it. So you're going to go after any little boy that gives you attention, you know what I mean? To kind of fill that gap that you've had since you were a little girl. And I think that a lot of young girls like do this out of acceptance and out of like feeling the love that they didn't feel, so, or the abandonment or whatever it could be.
Right.
So I think that's why I'm not saying that like, a girl doesn't just want a little boyfriend because she's a girl, she's got hormones and so does a boy. But when you get really attached to a lot of men, then you go through a lot of stuff. I think that's what it is. Acceptance and love.